Welcome to another allotment diary. Well, after a few days of heavy rain, it's brightened up nicely, and you can see my beds that I covered the other day are still covered. They've survived. My trellises are still up, though we've got a high wind predicted in the next few days. Storm Abigail is moving in today, so expecting that to be quite bad. But this is the site of the compost heap. This is where it's going to go. Now, the soil there is absolutely sodden, so I think it's a good place to build the compost heap, because frankly nothing else is going to grow there. I've just trodden on it and almost lost my boot. You can see my footprint there. So it's really wet. What I'm doing is I'm going to dig a trench around the outside, and I'm actually going to put the pallets in the trench to give them a bit of extra support, because it's really breezy today, and my long-term plan is possibly to put a greenhouse behind it, and I don't want the pallets falling over into the greenhouse. So I'm going to go for a bit of a belt and braces approach here. I'm going to sink them into the soil about 6 inches. 4 to 6 inches, just to really make sure they're solid, and then put supports in as well, just to really sure, stakes in, wire them together and all that, just to make absolutely sure it's not going to go anywhere. But I'm going to put it straight onto the soil, and that's going to encourage worms and other helpful bacteria to come up through the soil into it. Now what I'll do is, as I progress building a compost heap, so I will I'll continue to add to this video and show you more and more about what we're doing. But I've started a trench. The soil unfortunately stinks. I'm not quite sure why it smells so bad. It smells like a boggy peat type smell, so I think this area is a complete write-off for anything useful. So I'm going to get the compost heap built, throw in some manure and some compost. The manure is going to act as a bit of an activator, really help the composting to get started, and then hopefully this will do really well. I'm probably going to divide it into 2 bins, though initially both of them will be full. Longer term, one will be turned into the other, just to help the breaking down process. But for now, because there's so much to be composted, it's all going to get thrown into one. So I will update you in a little while and show you what I've done, and keep you informed on progress. Okay, here's an update so far. You can see there's one bin there made. It's not straight, I'm going to be honest with you. Come to the side, you can see it's a bit of an angle, but frankly I don't care. This soil is really difficult to work. It's absolutely sodden. I can understand why a bath was dumped here and this was used as rubbish. I don't know whether it's because it's behind the shed in the greenhouse, so it doesn't get a chance to dry out, or whether it's just this bit is sodden. But it's really wet. There's very little I can do with it, I think, unless I was putting in the compost heap, possibly a raised bed, but even then I don't know how much it would have done. So what I've done is I've dug them down probably about 4 inches, because they're any deeper than that, and it's stone, so it's like hardcore under there. I've had a couple of big rocks out of there already, so I'll be perfectly honest, it's not completely straight, but at the end of the day it's not a design competition, so I'm not too worried about that. What I have done is I put holes in the pallets, and I put wire in there to hold them, and that will hopefully secure them. So you can see that's not going to go anywhere. That's fairly secure. I've also put these posts in, and I'll put one in over here in a minute, just to help give it further support so it doesn't wobble from side to side. So as I said, it's really very much a belt and braces approach, because there is high winds on this site, and I know I'm perhaps going a bit over the board with it, but I don't want it getting damaged. So time to put the last one in. Though, like I said, it's a bit skew whiff, but no one's going to notice. Don't tell anyone. Not sure I'm going to win any design awards for this. It's definitely wonky, and unfortunately this end was a bit close to the path, so I couldn't, and I can't move the bath anymore because that's that size raised, so I couldn't get the bath out of the way to to put this one back flush here, but frankly, not fussed. It will do the job. I mean, yeah, it's a bit wonky and whatever, but it's fine. It will do the job. It will definitely do the job. I've got extra pallets. I've still got 4 left over, so they might become doors. Not sure about that yet, because I might use them for something else. I've got other thoughts that they could be for, but mostly that's it built. I want to put some weed membrane around the inside, just to keep that. The idea is that will stop, help aerate it a little bit more and stop it piling up against the wood. So I've got that to do. The wind is really picking up. I know we've got the storm coming tonight, where they reckon they're about 90-mile-an-hour winds. So will be interesting to see what holds up and what doesn't. I suspect that greenhouse is going to fall apart. It's already broken down in that corner. There's a strut broken. It's on the list of things to fix, but I think at the end of the day, unfortunately, it's probably going to die a horrible death in the wind, which is fair enough. I'll just get rid of it, because I'm not sure I wanted it there anyway. It's a bit of an eyesore. The other big problem with it is I've actually been inside. It's very, very small inside. There's not really that much space. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, that's mostly built. To be really honest with you, end to end, I mean, I know I've gone overboard a bit here. I haven't really got all the tools with me that I needed in order to do this properly. There were some other tools I should have brought with me, but I didn't. And frankly, it's too far to go and collect them and bring them back. But end to end, just putting this together here, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pallets in the ground, wired them together and put some stakes in. It's taken me about 45 minutes. So, you know, if you're sitting there going, oh, I can't build a compost heap, it's loads of work, it doesn't take long to do. It really, really doesn't. So it's fairly quick. I've got one more piece of wire to put in that corner. And then I'm going to put the stuff in the middle. But like I said, I had to be careful that I didn't come too far over to the road, and particularly this front bit here. You go an inch down in the soil, and it's pure rock. It's hardcore, so it's really, really difficult to dig. So I wouldn't have been able to get the pallets down in the ground. But I've gone around, squished mud in to secure them. I'll get the last bit of wire in just to hold it in place. And it looks, I mean, that's not going anywhere. This one here is slightly wobblier, but I said if I get another one in the bottom, that'll help. I might put another stake in here just to sort of try and secure it a bit more. This one here, again, it's not going anywhere. So I'll get the last bit of wire in, then I'm going to get the weed membrane on, and then if there's time, I'm going to start that pile of compost over there. Will get piled over here. So I'm going to start moving that hopefully today, and as I said, I'm going to get a wheelbarrow or two of manure and throw that on as well, just as a bit of an activator to help it get going. Those beds there, they need digging and covering. The compost is acting as quite a good mulch at the moment, keeping the weeds down, but what I want to do is I want to dig it in and cover it like that other bed on that side. But I don't think that's going to be a job for today. Unfortunately, it's now starting to really cloud over. The wind's picking up, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next hour or so I end up with some rain, and probably fairly heavy rain looking at the sky. So that's how you build a compost heap from pallets. It's really, really simple, very quick. And as I said, I've probably gone overboard a little, but you can screw them together, nail them together, you can use stakes like this, or whatever, just use whatever you can, whatever's to hand to make it stable and secure, because at the end of the day you're going to be throwing compost in and you don't want it falling apart. And like I said, for me, because I'm probably going to put a proper greenhouse behind it, I'm very keen to make sure that it's not going to fall over and at any point damage that greenhouse. So I'm going to get on with this now before rain stops play, as it's really getting very breezy, and I will update you hopefully just before I go. Okay, this end one now, I've put weed membrane down, and you can see there's a gap where these struts are between the weed membrane and the wood. The idea is this is going to help with air circulation, because one of the key things for a composting process to work is for the bacteria that performs the composting to get enough air. And what happens with most of our compost heaps is we dump them all in a pile like this, and we leave them, and as they compact, so all the air gaps are squished out, which means that there's no air left in there, and the composting reaction turns into what we call an anaerobic reaction, which basically means it works without oxygen, so it's effectively rotting and not having bacteria actively breaking it down. And unfortunately that means it takes a long time for it to break down. If you turn your compost heap, or at least sort of scoop it around a bit so that some air gets in there, the bacteria that actually does the composting and breaks it down has enough air to live and thrive. So you get what we call an aerobic reaction, which basically means your compost breaks down a lot quicker. Turn your compost once a week and you will find that 3 to 4 months it'll have broken down and it'll be soil. If you leave it, it will take a year, possibly even longer, depending on what's on it. Now for me, once this is built, I can start bringing up kitchen scraps from home. So eggshells, tea bags, vegetable peelings, things like that. I will not be putting any meat on it, because obviously out here it could attract rats, cats, foxes and who knows what else. I won't be putting any dairy on it for the same reason, and I won't be putting any cooked food on it. But all vegetable peelings and everything else that I can put on the compost heap will be going on it, because it's going to really help build up the micronutrients in the soil. So I'll start doing that very shortly, but obviously I have a book published on Amazon about composting. If you search for Jason Johns and composting, the book will come up, and I'm going to be updating it very shortly to include all these pictures. There's already pictures of this process in there, but I'm going to update it with some fresh pictures. But I'm going to put the weed membrane in on that side now. You can see I've not put it there because that's a solid bit of plank, so it doesn't really need one as far as I'm concerned. But on this one, it's going to go all the way around so that I've got the air circulation. And then I'm going to start loading up the compost heap, basically. I'd like to get it moved today, and then to be fair, I'm probably going to call it a day after that, because I've done quite a bit. So we're getting there. It's as I said, it's not going to win a design competition. It's certainly skew whiff, but at the end of the day, who cares? It does the job. That's the main thing. Yeah, if I'd spent a bit more time on it and taken more time, remember my spirit level and things like that, it would have been straight. But like I said, for me, it's purely functional, and whether it's straight or not straight, I don't care. You can see that one's out at a bit of an angle, and the back slants along as well, like that. But it does the job. Look, if I show you down the back, look, you can see I start out a good distance, and then over there I'm not a good distance, so not very straight, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. As I said, for me this is purely functional. How it looks is irrelevant. Yes, I'd love it to be square and all that, but I'm tired, I'm sore, and I'm in a hurry really, so it's built to a degree that will do the job, and I'm looking forward to filling it. And then as soon as now this is built, once I filled it, I can start work on that end over there. I'm just waiting for the allotment committee to tell me where the end of my plot is. It was marked, but unfortunately somebody has removed all the markings, because I put sticks in the ground and tied string between the sticks, so I knew exactly where the end of my plot was, because I want to build raised beds that abut onto the end of the plot. But unfortunately, as I said, somebody has decided that they rather like the look of the sticks, and they've disappeared for some bizarre reason. So I'm waiting for a committee member to just measure it and point out where the end is, because on the far side of the plot, that right on the corner there, that's meant to be another plot. So I don't want to encroach on that and build my beds too far over, because then somebody's going to complain and I may have to move them, which frankly is just too much like hard work. So I'm going to start digging that probably tomorrow if the weather holds, but today it's just fill the compost heap and go home and have a nice cup of coffee. So I'll update you just before I go and show you how it's looking. Okay, that's me done for the day now. I never claimed to be a DIY expert, never even claimed to be good at building stuff, but what the hell, it will work. You can see if I stand on the end there, you can see that's totally not straight, but look, it's full of compost. What I had noticed, I'm a bit out of breath, sorry, from heaving compost up and down. It's the compost heap where it was all the way over there. Remember, right on the end there, where that little pile is. There's still some more to move, but the weather's closing in and I really do need to go. So unfortunately that will have to wait. There's very little left. But what I did find was at the bottom of that, now bear in mind it's only been there for about 3 months, was this soil. It's a really, really good quality soil. And it's full of stuff inching around, looking at that. There's loads of bugs. But right at the bottom, it had already broken down in just a few months to really, really nice soft soil. It's obviously got a healthy insect population. There's wood lice there, there's whatever that white thing is there crawling around. Not quite sure what that is, looks like some sort of caterpillar grub things. There's various other things floating around, there's been worms. But what I had noticed was that things like this, some of the big tap roots for dandelions, like that one there, and some of the docks, they'd actually started to grow in the compost heap. So that obviously shows you the importance of having to turn your heap regularly and you know, keep it under control. So even without, I mean, about once every couple of weeks I'd dig around in it with a fork and loosen it up. So it's broken down quite nicely in places. But what I had noticed is where I'd put a lot of the grass, it's really matted and clumped together, so it wasn't breaking down. Now what I have done, as the more observant of you will notice, is I put gates on the front. They're only wired in place, and that one I've put that in because it doesn't fit. I thought I picked pallets all the same size, but that one's a completely different size to the one at the back for some reason, and it doesn't quite fit in the gap there. So there's a little gap there which, it's just a gap at the end of the day. But like I said, for me this is purely functional. I'll tidy it up at some point perhaps, but for now it's going to do the job. You can see this one mostly full already. It'll sink down over the next few weeks as it breaks down, and obviously now I've turned it, the composting process will really, really kick-start. I might put a shovel or two of manure on top just to give it a helping hand, but I don't think I'm doing that today, to be fair. I'll do that another day. But it's done. I said it's not taken long, really. You know, yeah, perhaps I should have thought about it a bit more carefully and measure things out instead of just digging it and it being a bit cockeyed. But if I hadn't done it cockeyed, this end here would have been too close to the road. So in a way it's actually quite fortunate I did do it slanted, because this would have come out too far onto the roadway and that would have been unacceptable. So in a way it's worked in my favour, because the plot here is curved, so it's kept it away from the edge of the road. So that's done now, so that's all sorted. I've got some more to put in there, but as I said, I'm not doing it today, I'll do that another day, and then I'll regularly turn it. But I'll keep you updated on happenings in the compost heap. I'm sure it's all going to be very exciting. You can see it's nicely lined. I had to put these on simply because it was rolling, there was so much compost in there, it was rolling down and over and getting more on towards the road. So I put the doors on so I can pile it nice and high and really make the most of it. I'll probably, again, yeah, I'm in a bit of a hurry today because it's going to rain very shortly and I've got to get up and do other stuff. But I'll probably replace this big pallet, tall pallet, with a shorter one another day. There is a smaller one in the shed, same size as this, but it's right at the back, and I just don't have the time to move everything right now, so that will probably get replaced because it's a bit awkward lifting it over the top here. Or what I might do is sink that down in the ground, but unfortunately here it's really, really hard to dig because it's mostly hardcore. But we'll see what I do there. But the rest of the plot is all looking good. The over there, those are the winter brassicas. They're still being attacked by slugs and snails. I've absolutely no idea what to do with those. I'm hoping next year I'm going to have to do a lot more next year. Onions and garlic, looking good, it's doing nicely, and that end over there is all still dead. So my plan is hopefully tomorrow, if the weather holds, move the rest of that compost heap and then start digging that area over there. I've got a big tarpaulin, so I've marked out a path with green sticks, so I want to clear the path, lay that, and then dig the rest of it and get hold of some scaffolding boards so that I can then build some more beds. This bed's actually going to move, so this one may well be the first one to move. I don't want this one here. It's behind the shed, the soil's soggy, it doesn't do anything. It's going to be in shade a lot of the day, so I'm not really sure what use this area is. To be fair, I don't think I can do much with it, so I'm probably going to put the bath in as maybe as a pond, and plant some plants around the outside of it, something like that perhaps, just to make a little wildlife area here or something, because like I said, unfortunately the soil here is very, very soggy, and it's just not going to do much good for me. So this is probably going to get moved over to there, so I'll clear an area over there and then I'll put that up there, and I'll pick the bed up next week and move it, and then this area will be something else. The problem with this as well, this bed, is it abuts the shed, and unfortunately it's so close to the shed that you can't preserve the wood on the shed behind it. So my concern is having sort of had a look down the side, is there is some rot there, so I want to move it away, get it away so that the back of the shed can breathe, and it will hopefully then be alright. But like I said, I just don't know what I'm going to do with this area yet. I think it's probably, like I said, going to become a bit of a wildlife area. I may just bark the rest of it, a couple of pots with things in it, and maybe get a table and chairs to put on there or something like that. So it's a little sort of seating area for when I come down here and I want to rest, rather than my little chair on my little bricks over there. So I've got a little collapsible chair, and that's on, I've got some slabs just outside the shed there, so it might be nice to have a bit more of a decent sitting area. It might encourage visitors then that perhaps I can put to work. But that's all for today. I'm going to go now. Well deserved cup of coffee and probably some mince pies, because you know what, they've got some lovely ones in the shops, and I'm really in the mood for some mince pies. So I'm going to get going and stuff my face, and I will speak to you very soon. So hope you're doing well down at your allotment. Let me know your thoughts on this area. I know I've asked before and I've had some great suggestions, so I think we're going to get working on that. Once we cleared that area over there, this area I think will be next, and it's just that area over there. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Almost done, but in reality, digging over there, that's going to be a lot of work. That's going to be hard work, because the soil's going to be really, really thick with weeds. But let me know how you're getting on down at your plot. Let me know what you're up to, and any of your composting tips and tricks.